Certainly so. The Marcy TA combination certainly something to behold. OG not going to be new to this though. I'm sure they'll know how to draft around it. As well, second pick for them, they'll have a bit of a think about this one. Was going straight into the tiny, which has been super popular in this current major. What do they want to follow up with here? I do wonder. I mean, seeing the TA, do you want to just go early on core picks here? Anything in particular you think might do well against the TA here, John?
Mm, Nothing really stands out. I'd say a Winter Wyvern support could be really good. Arctic Burn, steady sort of wave to clear out refraction. A Winter's Curse with a TA around, just gonna melt another hero. Really good in team fight. So wouldn't mind the Wyvern for OG if they wanted to go that route. Is fairly open. Has been pretty damn popular as well.
OG's
Uh,
turn to ban.
Kind of the only real one standout. They go with the IO instead. So we'll see what combines for that here for OG. They've run CK offlane a couple of times. That could
Radiant
be one
team
way.
ban.
Have a Seb IO with a Mar CK if it's not banned out. And OG ban out the Winter Wyvern themselves. So a big physical core is still lined up with that IO here.
That certainly is. And of course, last game around, the IO was banned out. So OG didn't really have the opportunity to go back for that. But this time around, they won't mess around
10 seconds
going for
remaining.
the IO pick in the first two picks. So fair enough. Really just wanting to prioritize that
seconds
going into game
remaining.
number two. Well, we kind of mentioned this as well before before the first game even started, John. But both teams are still fighting for their positions for the playoffs. And OG, while they are currently tied in third place, definitely need some more points up there to really guarantee their position in the
OG's
upper
turn
bracket.
to ban.
Same for outsiders. I mean, they're not even safe from being kicked out from the major so far. So obviously off to a pretty good start here. 1-0 towards OG, towards the side of OG, but outsiders, we'll see if they can make it a 2-0 here and really just improve their standings throughout these group stages and
10 seconds
see if they can make
remaining.
it work. In game one, again, nice comeback.
5
You see, they
seconds
do have what it
remaining.
takes to take down OG. Let's see how OG tries to rectify these issues, though, going into this draft. Because we are going to have to wait a bit longer for these bans to come out. See, the Wyvern ban was there
Radiant
by
team
OG.
ban.
They'll get rid of the Necrophos as well.
Necro ban usually signifies that you want a big, beefy sort of core in your hand for OG that doesn't enjoy that percent-based damage that just bursts you down. So Bristleback might
10
be something
seconds
OG
remaining.
considers for their side. Bristleback IO can be good and shift that onto Taiga.
5
OG's
seconds
been
remaining.
very good with flexing that IO on Seb and Taiga, so it's fairly open as to what laning partner it wants. Could end up being like a Bristleback. Bristleback versus TA is fairly alright. You just kind of burn through refraction naturally, and you're going to have a lot of damage to lay onto the TA once it is gone. So that might be one way for OG to get things going. Terribly, it's kind of an option as well. Playing phase-wise, it's maybe really dependent. Uragi did have a very
OG's
good game
turn
coming
to
out, just
ban.
that he didn't have the follow through. And Outsider sees, the Bristleback IO. They
Radiant
ban it out.
team ban.
I'd want to deal with the Necrophos ban. OG do ban out the Enigma as well. With an IO and Tiny, you don't really have the best ways to cancel a black hole. Just keeping themselves safe. They obviously know the power of that Enigma, so they wouldn't want to play against that.
Oh, naturally not. They will go ahead and ban it out. One more for
10
outsiders
seconds
before we can
remaining.
continue with these drafts. The other IO combinations they want to
5
get rid of
seconds
here before
remaining.
OG do go ahead and pick one up.
OG's
Well, for now, they'll get
turn
rid of the
to
BZM
pick.
Storm.
Disruptor.
Fair enough. Right into the Disruptor here for outsiders. It's always a very nice pick when you are against the IO because they relocate, you glimpse the core back every single time. It's very, very frustrating up until you have those BKBs up on said cores that are being relocated in.
10 seconds
So the initial
remaining.
fights, the initial relocates, as long as the Disruptor's there with the glimpse,
5
should make it
seconds
very, very
remaining.
easy for outsiders to try and turn.
Yeah, I think the one thing with Disruptor though is
OG's
we've seen
turn
this
to
a couple
pick.
of times now. If you're behind, the Disruptor can feel pretty atrocious as a support. It doesn't really help you much. So the key thing now for outsiders is how well Hakoda positions himself, how well he manages to use his spells, and if they can play around his timing into that static storm. OG just into the
10
Chaos Knight.
seconds remaining.
And Amar's played it a couple of times in the offlane, so this could still be the Seb IO with the Amar
5
CK
seconds remaining.
on off, and I don't believe Uragi's actually played that CK safe in this tournament. So likely already seeing our offlane duo out from OG, and we'll see how else they build up. Of course, the CK does have a lot of play. In comparison to the Viper, which was very focused in, didn't have its own control in the last game, Amar should be able to output a lot more on this CK, considering how Outsiders plays, and should have
Radiant
fairly
team
decent
pick.
laning presence as well. So they go with a Shaman next, so looking like perhaps a Tiny Core coming out here as well. And having the Shaman support is good. Pretty good hold, great push coming out, great single target control, especially for the TA. So you're going to prevent her from just blinking
10
around.
seconds remaining.
And that's going to be important as you really don't want to have to deal with the
5
TA
seconds
fully farmed
remaining.
up. Pre-BKB, very easy gank target for OG.
Certainly so. I like the fact that you've got this IOCK and IO Tiny. Like it's, you know, more value out of the relocate and the heroes you can relocate with. Mid Tiny obviously being very popular as well as of late. Nothing wrong with going ahead for that. Outsiders. 2 more cores to come, I believe. 1 minute reserve time here for Outsiders to make this decision. You do still have the option of going back for things like the Nature's Prophet if you really wanted to, but it probably wouldn't fit a TA draft. But you never know. Ramses does enjoy that Prophet quite a bit. We all know that.
Yeah. I think he enjoys the TA as well, so it's pretty safe to just have Ramses take that early TA. I'm keen to see maybe something with more play on mid actually here for GPK. Just have something more active, something that gives you great team fight or just mobility. You do have decent hold from AG to stop that. It will go with the DP, so likely our DM hero offlane just gonna hold out on what OG might want to do about their mid. Maybe just suss out whether or not the tiny mid is going to come out, or if they are going to run like IO tiny safe lane, Chaos Knight off lane with something more
10
playmakey for
seconds
BZM
remaining.
on mid. Outsiders do have last pick overall, so they can't afford to just wait
5
and see how
seconds
OG adapts
remaining.
here.
And see indeed. Final banouts to come. OG. 35 seconds reserve time left for these final bans. I feel like a mid laner is lacking, perhaps even a safe laner. More than likely mid, though. Still a very flexible draft from Outsiders, though, so it can be kind of hard to make these decisions on these bans for OG. We'll dive real deep into that reserve time now. Only 15 seconds left.
Radiant
Still thinking
team
about it.
ban.
They'll go for the jug ban out, so they seem to believe maybe another position 1 to come. That would imply the TA mid to come and maybe the offlane Death Prophet. Do you think it's a Ramses hero we're missing, John?
It's hard to say because I think Outsiders does lean a little bit
10
more on the
seconds
Ramses
remaining.
TA more than anything else in comparison to GPK's TA.
5
So
seconds remaining.
fairly open enough for them to adapt. I mean, yeah, GPK's played it,
OG's
so
turn
yeah,
to ban.
Ramsey's safe lane. The issue I have with like TA mid and another safe lane coming out is can get really greedy really fast. Like TA is not just going to be online ready to go that quickly, and for the most part, Ramses also likes to take his time farming up, so that's a lot of time where
10
OG can
seconds
just fight
remaining.
like 3 heroes running around trying to make plays on the map while 2 heroes are farming
5
up. It's
seconds
just a lot of
remaining.
downtime. And OG has a run and gun draft. Like IOCK or IO Tiny,
Radiant
both heroes
team
just
ban.
enjoy having that buff. They don't need too much farm after, say, Echo Saber for CK. You are kind of set to go. Tiny as well, with multiple buildups for that attack speed. So I I I know they can be flexible on Outsiders, but I worry that again,
10
it is
seconds remaining.
slower. And we saw how fast OG were playing that early game. It's not like
5
Outsiders has
seconds
something like
remaining.
Double Doom to play with this time around. They've got, say, Static Storm Ags upgrade, and that's your Pons 5 Disruptor that holds most of that power. It's not an off-lane Doom. So the farming pace onto that big turnaround for in terms of control and kind of achieving what they had in game 1, it's probably not going to happen at all in this game, considering what we tend to see from Disruptors.
Oh, fair enough. 5 seconds left in the reserve time for Outsiders, now going all the way for this final ban out.
OG's turn to pick.
They'll get rid of the Invoker here, assuming BZM still needs his own hero. And OG, final pickup. See how they want to finish this draft off. Is it going to be the mid tiny? Is it going to be the safe lane CK?
10 seconds
Very,
remaining.
very soon.
5 seconds remaining.
You'd like maybe a little bit. No, you don't really lack too much team fight here for OG. Seems like they're just fine with
Radiant
what
team
they've got.
pick.
They're going to go down the slider route. Why the hell not? That minus armor probably going to play dividends here against outsiders. What are you thinking, John? We don't get to see the slider very often, you and I.
Yeah, I like it. Namar's played it a lot in this tournament. Combines really nicely with the IO, so we're
10
getting back
seconds
that
remaining.
ridiculous move speed with a
yes.
tether up. Just gonna run around, chase all the heroes
5
down.
seconds remaining.
TA level 1 to even level 4 is not gonna feel that good up against a Slardar, especially if it's just gonna be in your face with a sustain from the IO. Outsiders
You may
will go
now
with
select
Lycan,
your
so it is a
heroes.
TA safe more than likely here. With a mid Death Prophet this time coming around. Yeah, DM takes a Lycan. I'd say overall in draft, I mean, the Lycan is pretty damn good in the fact that OG's hold is going to be split, right? Your hold from the Shadow Shaman will have to make that choice. Do you want to stop the Lycan from running around? Do you want to focus in on that TA? That might give outsiders a little bit more play. But I like the pacing from OG's draft. I think this is a draft that comes online very fast. It's got really good presence globally with the IO, decent enough sustain, and they're really tanky in the CK. Even the Tiny once he gets grow up, and of course the Slardar. So I think outsiders might struggle in finding that damage early on. Once Ramses
10
has his Desert, it
seconds
feels
remaining.
better. It's still a lot to ask for to kind of melt
5
through these heroes
seconds
once their
remaining.
durability goes up. And this time around for OG, as I said, Mike, if you don't have something like a double Doom timing to turn around with, right? Like your Disruptor can get Ags, but you're not likely to see that 4.2k gold item on Hakoda anytime soon. So OG can play that same pace from game 1, and the likelihood of being punished is a lot less in comparison to that game.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we'll get into game number 2 very soon, John. Because I've got to give props to Knoxville here. He has just released a stat on Twitter. Apparently, over 1,337 pro games of Tiny IO combo in the history of Dota. So there you go. The most loved combo, the most played combo in pro Dota, the IO Tiny once again. And John, 1,337, that's elite. Back in my day again. I'm an old man, Jonathan. These are all
Yeah.
very cool things to me.
It's very elite, Mikey. I know you were the kind of
Oh.
fella as well to have the small x, big X underscores in the
was.
name.
I was.
I think you love to point out the gun in the name as well.
Of course.
That's something I never saw, but you know, our admin Ben Q, that's something he does as well. Till now, mind you, he's the actual cool fella, Mike. You don't have a gun in your name. Ben Q does. He's a cool fella.
If you're like a CSGO player, you'd have the gun. If you play, you know, cringe games like Maple Story like I did when I was young, John, you get the X going. Oh, the good old days. The good old days.
I don't understand. Like you see Maple Story's art style, you see what kind of game it is. It's kind of cutesy, and you still have people with the XX there. It always made me giggle when I'd see that.
Look, at least I played it in the heyday, John, back in beta. I mean, Anna, who won 2 TIs, played it after winning 2 TIs, which I don't know why he did that. You're just sinking money into that game. I would not recommend it.
Yeah, sometimes you have the urge, Mike, the urge to just farm forever. You know, Alan is a carry player. That's all he wants to do.
I assure you that's all you do in that game. Literally just farm forever. Literally, John. There's nothing else to do in that game. Nothing. Just play Dota. Don't waste your time.
At least it's relaxing, Mikey. Dota, relaxing to some people. I'd say if you find this game relaxing, consult your doctor. That doesn't sound right.
30 seconds to battle.
Ground onto that Radiant Triangle, already trying to set up for a first blood attempt, and they've got a very strong level 1 timing. So many disables, so much high base damage here with Uragi and Amar. And Tiger there. Oh, and Hakoda. Right into them. OG very patient. They don't see them yet. Outsiders within the fog have not revealed themselves. Oh, nice cheeky wolf to check the high ground, and they see them.
The battle
Here we go,
begins.
OG. Are they going to find an opponent? No, not quite. Very nice wolf there from DM. Just check the high ground, and outsiders, they will avoid paying a high price for those bounties.
Yeah, they get back, they get even starts, 2-2 bounty starts, so should be able to get themselves a fairly great even start, as I've been saying. Should work out just fine, no losses there. Gonna take a look at that top lane. DM on that Lycan hang along with Hakoda. And that Disruptor up against Yuragi on that CK, along with Taiga on the Shaman. This can get really aggressive really fast for OG. Chain stuns for the CK feels great. Level 3 timing for CKs. Probably what you're gunning for, along with level 2 of Taiga. And Taiga is holding on to what he wants to skill up. Holding on to those shackles just now. Hakoda is looking to go for the creep pull. They know this is going to be slower here for Outsiders. Just get some EXP going and just kind of play it a little bit greedier in comparison.
Nice glimpse away, Taiga. He had the shackles, but Hakoda, he barely got the glimpse off in time. It was a guaranteed first blood to occur there for OG. Had that shackle been locked in, and well, not very often, John, you see level 1 glimpse up on a disruptor, but there you go. Level 1, level 1 disruption. Rather than level 1 glimpses. Hakoda back onto Taiga, but he's going to be just fine. Let's have a look at the other lanes as well while we have a chance. How about the bot lane? Be there on the back of that. Well, there was an initiation, but never mind. Amar gonna be there against Ramsey 666. Was he gonna? Never mind. We do have an initiation. Hakoda, he's gonna drop.
Has been killed.
That's my fault. No, don't blame the observer. That was my fault. I dragged him to that bot lane.
It looked like he managed to slip away, but managed to get that kill. As mentioned, this lane from OG is very aggressive. CK, high damage output. Even the Shaman, high damage output in terms of right click. So if you catch someone off guard, very easy to melt. And Hakoda is a very soft target. So level 1 glimpse not going to save you too much. And look at OG. They know they're ahead now. They know the Disruptor's not going to do much. They can just be aggressive.
Damage. Made the rebound in onto Amar. Exposes there onto Seb. Be okay to walk away. Damage being dealt there to Yamich. Always going to be a bit cautious moving into Amar on that Slardar. And in fact, Yamich again going to be targeted here by that Slardar. A very powerful lane, the IO Slardar. And off lane, where all the action's happening apparently is Hakoda will drop once again. This time around, Taiga to pick up the kill.
And again, for OG, there's just no resting here. As long as they've got the mana, they've got the stun. Disruptor with just glimpse really doesn't do much. You really need a Thunder Strike to harass back. And look, you just step behind a tier 1. DM is protected by at least having a tower around, but it's not enough for the creep wave to tank through. Does not now OG's forced back, but already a strong start for OG. Even the mid lane have probably their only struggle here for the BZM. Just a little bit slower for him up against GPK. Is caught in a lot of harassment, and GPK is building the foundations here for Outsiders. So if he does manage to secure, say, next water runes into the power runes, get his level 6 right, that could be where Outsiders start to get their own aggression going.
From the tempest of battle.
How's the mid lane going? GPK and BZM going at it. Seems like GPK's having a better time right now than BZM. He's 11 CS on the Tiny, so a bit of a struggle here for the Tiny. He's just too busy placing stickers of Ramses down in that mid lane. GPK having a great time. You're on the Death Prophet and actually hold that thought Junker's bot lane. Damage rather low, but he's going to be able to survive. You just never know with this IO Slardar, John. Just so much damage being pumped out. Damage is going to be fine, however. Now mid lane, Taiga looking for a shackle opportunity. Won't throw it out yet. Taiga going very far forward. Hakoda does have the glimpse back and will commit it. Taiga, what's the idea here, sir? He will go for the shackles out, waiting for his teammate to make his way over. BZM will be there. Taiga somehow still alive. Meanwhile, Ramsey's gonna drop down a bot lane. GPK, he'll drop low. Taiga still gonna go down surely as he does have the Fairy Fire. He'll be okay. Really playing on the edge. And while all that was happening, they did find a massive pickup onto Ramses. Back to Taiga. He's still gonna drop. Almost going down to the avalanche, but not quite.
Yeah, it's a lot of back and forth in that mid. Still OG's finding everything they want. They're kind of repeating what they did in game 1, forcing all the attention towards mid, down the line, freeing up their side lanes. Finding that kill on Ramses is going to set him back quite a fair bit. This TA is going to need a lot of space to farm. And mind you, so will the Lycan. I think that's the big issue for Outsiders. Their play is all stuck on really GBK, but the play of a Death Prophet isn't really control-based.
Tether away. Amar wants to punish Yamich. He'll go after Seb on that iron. Guns are there. Amar just attacking way too fast. Look at that. It's just so ridiculous how fast you can get the damage out. My goodness.
Yeah, it's the IO Slaughter. That attack speed buff just helps him chase down, but the tether is just super speedy and you can't really stop it.
What does that mean?
I have no clue.
There's been a bit of all chat throughout this series. Seven, I believe it was a GPK going back and forth earlier on in game number 1, and now no idea what that means from BZM, but there you go. Even more all chat coming.
Yep, just you know, both teams kind of like throwing at each other quite a fair bit. Down mid though.
BZM, let's cross on damage. Still gonna make the jump in, but Tiger is gonna be there to help out. They did pop the exorcism. In fact, a nice glimpse back on Seb. Gonna make sure the IO is not around the Tiger. It's gonna drop and get started with Uragi. Gonna try and punish onto the Marcy. Damage, alive but not quite. Back Uragi. It's a big price to pay for a Marcy pickoff. This BZM still trying for the fight with the exorcism. It's still going. BZM, EPK, drop and finally goes down. Oda, not out of danger yet either, but eventually we'll be okay. Who does that actually favor, John? A 2-for-2 trade. He did lose that pulse on
Dire's
CK in the
top tower
process.
is under attack.
I'd say you're pretty happy on OG's end. Sure, it's a pretty big sacrifice when you kill off the DP popping Exo. So that means outsiders can't make that move onto mid with the Exorcism still running to get a push. And it is a pretty, you know, it looks like a pretty bad play from Uragi, but it does pay off. Your mid-tier one will stand for longer. You do manage to get that kill on that profit. You're giving some much-needed gold out onto BZM. So the trade-off is fairly worthwhile. This is relieving pressure for outsiders. And Ramses now is managing to play in that jungle. Does have a nice possessed mask flying out here as well, and is inching closer towards the Dragonland. So TA farming rate is picking up, and OG aren't really stopping it beyond that one laning kill. So as long as Ramses hit his Dragonlance Desolator timing along with the BKB, you should still feel fairly good on outsiders. And DM is also getting space to finish up that Humpty Dominator. It's still not the fastest timing, but once that's up, you don't quite have the best ways of bursting through the creeps here from OG.
Running damage there. Forced to rebound out. Unable to try and defend that bottom tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, mid lane Tiger, he's got a bit of a shackle going on GPK. Trying to protect this illusion rune for his mid, but he's eventually going to be forced to pick it up. PK not able to take it for himself. He tried for the deny, but couldn't quite.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Top lane, Hakoda. Find Uragi, but back his way out immediately. Just a quick kinetic field and just get the hell out of there. Lane, Amar and Seb just so confident on this Slaughter IO. Like they're just not afraid of anything. You're just farming so deep in that bot lane. Amar knows anyone that shows up, chances are they're probably just going to end up dying.
Yeah. Already has that Mask of Madness up. Lots of attack speed even without the IO. Circling around top here.
Hold up. Get caught. He'll try for the TP play, but it's not going to work out. They'll lock him down and take him out. On the brighter side, though, he does at least break the smoke, so DM's not going to get caught in the like, and it's probably the best case scenario here for outsiders, only losing the Disruptor. However, Radiant jungle, Amar, won't bother even trying for GPK. Amar is alone, to be fair, so risk his own life for this. It'll work out in his favor, I'm sure.
Just going to keep farming up. OG starting to pick up the pace in the game. 3-7, 2K lead their way. And outsiders, again, the key issue with this draft is your playmaking is down to a deck profit along with a disruptor. Hakoda is still at level 4. You don't have the threat of Static Storm. They will go for a smoke out. Let's see if GPK will find something to do here.
Towards the top lane, I mean, at the very least, even if you don't find a hero pick-off, you can pop the ulti and try to secure that top tier 1 tower, but they do want some form of a fight. Uragi will be spotted here by Hakoda and GPK.
Dire are scanning.
OG are around the corner though. You've got BZM and Tiger pretty close by, so not the safest jump in to try and make, so outsiders, they'll back off. Allow DM to secure that top tier 1 tower, and that'll be enough. 3-7, still the favor of OG. 1k net worth lead, but a very close matchup nonetheless.
So it's really even, man. OG does still feel like they've got control of the game, but you can't count outsiders out. They're somehow making it work. They've got the Dominator, Overlord, probably soon to follow here for EM, and once that's up, and you don't have anything that really handles these massive creep armies coming out, your control is somewhat there.
Damage. He's alright. He banned out of there. This farming game really faded, because like last game where we saw the same kind of thing and outsiders managed to kind of scrape by in that game number 1. Do you think the farming game favors the side of outsiders more or the side of OG more?
I'd say OG just by a tad. Like this TA is gonna need a lot to really be online, and again, your AoE control, your late game team fight scaling is dependent on the Disruptor Axe, which just doesn't come out, even if you try to rush it here on Dakota. And he is rushing it, mind you. Just won't come out soon enough.
Ragi wins back, they've got themselves a big target. CK has been caught out and nobody from OG around to help. I'm just gonna have to watch Ragi die. Dakota immediately out with the tip. Now OG, they can still try to force the fight, and they will. On the TM, but he'll just run. No problem as Yamic right into the middle. After Tiger, get the Shadow Shaman. Another one here for outsiders. Another glimpse back here, finding BZM. The kinetic build. This is a much bigger target here for outsiders, but Amar, he won't allow it. He relocated out as well by Sep just to make sure BZM is going to be able to survive a bit longer. Somehow Yamic continues to just rebound his way out of these team fights.
OG just not quite grouping up for that really well. The forward vision from outsiders gets some really good punish from below.
Lift is there. Stun is out from Uragi. And these have the refraction up. Uragi will just keep the chase going because BZM is on his way. He's maybe forced to try and fight, but a nice hurricane away from DM with the dominated creepers now. Maybe they can try to turn this. Don't have too many spells up at the moment, but OG, they are overstaying their welcome, it seems. GPK will make the jump in. Grimsmack is out. Uragi is going to go down. 4 tips out from outsiders. OG, a little bit greedy there for the Wolves and the dominated creep do end up paying heavily for it.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising how OG are moving. They're trying to get aggressive with the CK early. The armlet's not even up. It does feel like at this point you're probably going to have to gun for the armlet BKB on Uragi before you get really effective. Outsiders are just playing really well once more. They're dancing in and out. They're punishing OG for just not sticking as a unit. I think OG, they were trying to gank as 4-man, 5-man earlier, and it didn't line up, so they're just kind of trying to split the map a lot more, but it's outsiders who's grouping up and working it. Although they are smoked up here.
Scanning.
DM from the Avalanche. Tiger immediately gives it away. Won't be able to hold the shackles of DM. He does get the roof fall off. Amar keeps trying to chase further, trying to get the Stam walk down. DM though will try to run, but eventually, surely they've got the damage. They will. OG barely able to find DM. Still a massive pickup here for OG, and they'll be satisfied with that.
Yeah, they managed to force out the use of the Static Storm this time, not doing as much coming out from Dakota. And they play around with Amar. In that last chase, Amar wasn't quite there. Now, with a Slaughter, they have a lot more output, they have a lot more control. They basically just need to hook up with Amar. He just, as long as he's got Relocate in the eye around, they should be able to find those targets and start to punish outsiders here. Still outsiders, and that build-up is still ramping up. Ramsey's still waiting on whether or not he wants to fully commit for that Deso or the BKB. Looks like Desolator's probably going to be played. The Dominator, Overlord for DM. Only about, well, a little bit more gold off, but not too far away on that recipe, just about 1,000 away. So Ancient Creep going to be in play. The issue for outsiders, and this one hurts outsiders more, is that the mid-tier one still stands for OG. Like their own mid-tier one stands, but OG still having access to their forward jungle is a cause of concern, as they've been able to farm around that really well, and you have been able to give Uragi space on the bot. So the build-up is starting to get in there as well for OG. Once the BKBs are up, that great teamfight potential from Hakoda just kind of disappears when the Static Storm doesn't come into play.
APK to release in the meantime. John gonna pop the Exorcism. We'll find the mid-tier 1 tower. G They are around if they want to try and make a jump in, but with the exorcism going, it's probably not the greatest idea. He will try to wait this one out. Only a quarter of its duration left anyway, so Amar makes the jump in for Yamich. He's there immediately. Static Stormer's out as well. GPK does go down. It's not a bad start at all, but Uragi, he got glimpsed away here on that CK. With the relocate incoming. Not connect the way they wanted, but Amar, he'll rush forward anyway. He'll be able to pick off the M or at least catch him. Another disposal damage to find Amar. That'll be ACF down onto Seb. Have they gone too far? It does seem that way as Tiger. Also going to beat his own line for we're here. They find GPK, but in the end, they give 2 more kills back the way of Outsiders. Then onto the Roshan for this Radiant team. BZM. He's gonna try, but Yamich is there with Dispo's once again onto the Tiny. BZM was sticking around, still trying to delay the Roshan. Ramsey still get right to work as now Uragi gonna show up. Does find Hakoda. BZM though is gonna drop in that Tiny SF. He won't make it out either. It's Uragi versus the world. Good. He's gonna try and man up through this. Amar is there to help out as well for Slaughter. He's just gonna run. Uragi.
Radiant's bottom
He will
tower
go
is
down.
under attack.
3 down for OG and Roshan. It's still going to go the way of Outsiders.
They're just dancing around OG. They're managing to force OG to almost trickle in what feels like 1-by-1. And they just have to punish him. Like the output of Ramses when he saw Amar come in, that Desolator just bursted him down, and OG has to respect that. They've managed to give Ramses so much space to get that build up. OG, I mean, they've been playing a farming game too, but every single time they start to clump up for fights, it's just too staggered. They need to be able to play around. They need to initiate first with Amar, have the follow through with BZM and Uragi, and just clean up from there.
We go again. He's currently being watched here by Outsiders. And as for now, might just back off, but they've got the DP ulti back up in 1.
Are scanning.
OG, see the Death Prophet. PK not making it easy. Very nice scan out as well from Outsiders. Let's reveal the position of OG. Do back off the right moment here. So a 4K advantage being held by Outsiders, and with the Aegis up on the TA, they won't be too afraid to force another fight very soon, I'm sure. You don't really have anything like a BKB on Ramses yet, but he may just feel like he doesn't need one.
Just boils down to OG's control. Like, they haven't been able to jump Ramses first in the middle of these fights. When Ramses does engage, he's very far back. You can't blink on top of him. For the most part, at that point, Taiga tends to be dead, so your single target hold is gone. So Ramdas might be able to slip away without the BKB in a few of these fights. And OG, they need their own BKBs. Uragi needs some protection here. So will Amar, and that buildup is slowly but surely coming up there, but not quite. BZM doesn't even have the blink up, opting for that Echo Saber first. So all their initiation plays really just on Amar, and it feels like you need to follow through. They haven't been able to play around and relocate as much. And Outsiders, with the output they have, with having that full Helm the Overlord up, they can just go for the push play here.
Radiant's
Massive timing now.
tower is under
AP
attack.
ulti, Aegis up, Helm the Overlord up. Everything they could ask for the side of Outsiders is now available.
Radiant structures
Try and make this
are
high ground play
fortified.
happen. No, get
Radiant's bottom
started.
tower is under attack.
Messing around, OG gonna find a way to try and force his defense.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Ragi, the front line, gonna take care of that dominating creep. Yamich is there. Amar was caught for a moment. He is gonna be saved. handing the tip over to Hakoda, who actually clips it back of all things.
Radiant's middle tower has
An error
fallen.
there by Outsiders. Going on to that top ranks though, they will be able to secure no problem. The NOG, unable to make the jump in,
Dire's top
will
barracks
not be able
has
to
fallen.
punish Outsiders today. Because at least OG don't lose ATF.
Yeah, that is a save coming out from Hakoda, and OG might have the opportunity to get back in there if they want to. Still, they've got the blink up on BZM, so it's an additional form of going in. You're not kind of stranded if Omar just goes up. And they are starting to play with 7 Uragi together now. So the IRCK is working as a unit. BKB for Uragi's coming through. The 6k lead for Outsiders is still substantial. You know, Hakoda is actually allowed to still keep that Axe rush fight. Yeah, I mean, he's still 2 parts away, but it is eventually going to come out. Some of those BKBs might not feel the most impactful here from OG if they're not careful.
Go again, Outsiders. 3-man smoke up towards the bottom side of the map. Dakota, he gets spotted there by ATF, but OG do not feel safe at this side of the map at all. They will try to run and leave. Fighters on the chase. G should have enough time to TP, but ATF does not have a TP. He's kind of stuck it there for now. Tiger will stick around, and ATF's just going to blink towards the north and be just fine. Tiger still trying to avoid Yamage here, but he get caught out. Yamage, oh, he's not going to check in time.
Radiant's top tower is under
Unfortunate.
attack.
Nice attempt though.
Yeah, buys quite a fair bit of time for OG, dragging all of the Outsiders here is down bot. They're getting a little bit of a shove up top here, might siege creep up. Tier 1 tower is still to be taken. That should give them a small objective goal, maybe a little bit more control on that opposing triangle here from Outsiders, and Outsiders doing the same, trading for the bot, and they just melt through it with the damage output they have. Tier 2 under threat now, and Outsiders look to want to commit. Exorcism up in a second, so after clearing this out, they've still got some time for high ground.
Why the hell not? They're the ones to be forced to come back and defend. Trying to force that top lane into the DPK, who'll pop the ulti, and here come the TPs from OG. Ward already dropped preemptively. Oh, Uragi, he gets swims back once again. He is not within this team fight. On for Tiny they go, that'll be BZM gone. Then he can relocate Uragi in 10 seconds. He's gonna wait that 10 though.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Too late. Tiger to jump in. Exposes there. Tiger gets the lead, but for now is fine. And they go, trying to take down that death drop, but they might have to death drop. Look how tanky GPK is. Full tank for everybody. Nobody taking him down as Ramsey's right in onto BZM.
Dire's bottom tower
Won't
is
find the
under
kill.
attack.
It's back, however. They've got Seb on the IO. Is that going to kill the damage? Right in again. With the dispose. Duragi was trying to find a GPK. Can he tank through a second time? This man just can't die. Oh, they can't kill him. GPK, what a king attack.
Dire's bottom tower.
He just stands his ground on us under a bar. That'll be another. Another disposed Yamin. Too quick from Uragi. Right out of this game number 2. Ramsey, they call it PG. OG has seen enough and Outsiders. I don't know what they put in their coffee today, John, but they woke up.
They definitely did. They get the XDs out as well at the end there. And Outsiders, they play a phenomenal game. Look, game 1, OG looked a lot right. They had control of that early game. They managed to run around and force these fights. Game 2 looked pretty much all in on Outsiders. And we talked about how this draft had shortcomings, how the disruptor from behind wouldn't do well. They were never really behind. OG